Why are you asking me that? Nobody in this room
Hi there.
If you are an elected official, please check in at the check-in table, which is by that big tree over there. How do I? Oh, you can come here to the speaker stand if you'd like, if you're an elected official. All about solidarity. Let me tell you something. Last week, Jon Stewart held a rally in Washington, D.C. called the Rally to Restore Sanity. I got news for you. This is the rally to restore sanity. Because what high-speed rail has been doing is completely insane. In fact, I might call it a boondoggle. What do you call it? What do you call it? I can't hear you. The governor-elect can't hear you. That's right, it's a boondoggle. You know, I guess I might as well tell you who I am. I'm former city councilman from Burlingame, Russ Cohen. Thank you. I'm not a right-winger. I'm not a left-winger. I'm not a teabagger. What I am is a taxpayer, and I'm a concerned citizen, and I'm concerned about how high-speed rail is going to affect our state. In fact, I think we need to rethink high-speed rail. Rethink high-speed rail. That's right, rethink high-speed rail. Obviously, thank you very much, I'm not alone. But I need your help. I need your help to send a very loud message to the governor-elect, our legislators, the High-Speed Rail Authority, and your neighbors. This is all up to you. I want to introduce to you now a man who has really helped to get the word out. He's the general counsel for the Planning and Conservation League. He's the executive director of the Community Coalition on High-Speed Rail. He's also a noted speaker on environmental issues. He's got a laundry list of accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Patton.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. My name is Gary Patton. I'm an environmental lawyer. I'm working directly with the Community Coalition on High-Speed Rail, and my task today, right now, is to help us all define a boondoggle. What is a boondoggle, and how do you tell the difference between a boondoggle and a great idea? Because wouldn't it be a great idea to have a 21st century transportation system that could effortlessly get people back and forth between major urban centers, save global warming emissions, cost hardly anything, get cars off the road, build jobs in California, enhance the vitality of our local communities, and do it all essentially right now because Californians, as ever, are willing to lead the way. Well, that's a great idea, but let's talk about what is a boondoggle. It's a boondoggle when you go to the voters and you ask them to pledge their money, borrow their money, which means they're going to pay back twice as much, for a system that's going to meet all of those promises that I just talked about, and find out that what's really happening is soaring costs, not disclosed, ticket prices escalating through the atmosphere, very few jobs. I mean, can you imagine, let's build jobs in California, contracting it out to China. Well, it doesn't add up. That's a boondoggle. And what about putting a state agency in charge that doesn't read the invoices before it pays the bills to the consultants? What about a business plan that was promised before we voted, that was given to us after we voted, that everybody that's ever done any business says that isn't a business plan? And what about ridership projections that are based on such flawed understandings that the prestigious Institute for Transportation Studies in Berkeley says they're valueless as any kind of a projection of what such a system might be able to do? That's right. Let me say that is where we are today. And that is a boondoggle. And let me tell you, I'm saving the worst for last, that we happen to live, we are right now, in one of the most beautiful, vibrant, diverse, productive communities in the state of California. The communities of the San Francisco Peninsula is what everybody wants to have their community be like. I'm sort of a planner in a way. I'm a lawyer that works on planning issues. I was a county supervisor for 20 years and worked on planning issues. And this is the definition of smart growth. It isn't smart to go right through the middle of our most beautiful and healthy commercial areas, through our great residential areas on the San Francisco Peninsula, and put up elevated freeway structures that we're paying millions of dollars to take down everywhere else because they blight the communities they go through. It's not acceptable. It's a boondoggle, and we're going to stop it starting today.
Thank you, Gary. You know, Gary mentioned community. That's what this is all about. It's about community. It's about all of you. I want to introduce to you someone who was a community activist for many years, and she became a policy maker. She's a woman who has always cared deeply about the best interests of Burlingame and the entire region. She has worked tirelessly to ensure that high-speed rail does not scar the peninsula, does not scar the state. I want to introduce to you the Honorable Mayor Kathy Baylock, Mayor of Burlingame, I might add.
Hello out there, can you all hear me? Well, first of all, they told me this was a Giants rally. But that's okay. This is just as exciting as the World Series championship. So, go Giants. As Russ said, I'm Kathy Baylock. I'm the mayor of Burlingame. I've been in office 9 years. I got my start as a neighborhood activist. Was a stay-at-home mom with 2 little boys, and saw some things that I didn't like, and I got out of my house. And I'm hearing that you can't hear me out back, so I'll speak slowly. So I want to welcome you to the city of Burlingame, the city of trees, which you see all around us. Can you turn up the volume? They're turning up the volume. Sorry? Okay. So I'm going to shout as loud as I can in my Cappuccino High School cheerleader voice and welcome you to the city of Burlingame on behalf of our city and our city council. Also with me today from the city council in Burlingame is Vice Mayor Terry Nagel, Councilman Michael Brownrigg, and Ann Keegren. I haven't seen her yet, but I was told she was going to be here. Former Mayor Ann Keegren is right behind me, but I don't dare move. I'll mess up the microphone. So I think this is an appropriate place to hold our rally. As many of you know, in 1894, that beautiful national landmark rail station was built right behind you. And in this vast wasteland, it was a vast wasteland then, our city grew up around that train station. So literally, this is the heart of Burlingame. 25% of our residents live east of the tracks. There is no wrong side of the tracks in Burlingame, and we intend to keep it that way. So, thank you. I was asked to speak today on behalf of the broader issues, not just the issues in Burlingame, but I know many of you are aware of the plans to bring the equivalent of either an elevated structure, the equivalent of a 7-lane freeway through our Caltrain corridor, or in an open trench that would be just as wide. And we all know how devastating that would be to the city of Burlingame. Some people have said we should just sit down and let it happen and not speak out about both the local No, not you all here. But I want to give you a little background on the city of Burlingame. In 1920, all of El Camino from San Bruno to San Mateo looked like our stretch of El Camino, 4 lanes and eucalyptus trees. And in the 20s, business boosters wanted to widen that road and make it commercial, cut down all the trees. And the city of Burlingame said no. We were challenged all the way to the Supreme Court, and we prevailed, that we had the right to control zoning in our city. So that was the first of many, many battles in our town, and I think this is just as important, if not more important. I'm trying really hard not to move. So I want to encourage all of you. I see that you're all involved people, but the problem is if the message doesn't go beyond Washington Park, the tree fell in the woods and no one heard it. So I'd like all of you, before you leave this rally, to visit the information booths, get information on the project for those of you who are not familiar with it, and communicate with your state legislators. And you say why? Because they hold the purse strings to this project and they control what is built. Now, we got a little reprieve last week, just like we set our clocks back and got an extra hour this weekend. Our clocks were set back. The Federal Railroad Administration has indicated that all the current high-speed rail funds must go to the Central Valley and the section built first there. That gives us some breathing room to communicate with our lawmakers, to express our concerns, and have the environmental review done correctly, which means evaluating a closed tunnel or cut-and-cover tunnel through our towns so that they are not permanently scarred. So you have an extra hour. You have time to learn more about the project, but you need to let your state and federal legislators know, and all these great people in our community who set up booths and come out in the rain have information to help you do that. But please, don't let this time go by without doing something. With that, I'm sure I've exceeded my 5 minutes. The gavel's come down, but thank you again for coming out in this glorious weather, and God bless you all.